we got Bruce in the back working on something for us. So glad you decided to join us, man. And what we've been doing is we've been kind of diving into local success stories. Local guys who made it to the elite level, such as yourself. Obviously, we're very proud of our area, right? Buffalo and where you're from, and you're a walk-on U guy, man. So I'm just going to introduce you this way, ladies and gentlemen. Demone Harris, Super Bowl champion now, Demone Harris. Tell me a little bit about, man, right off the bat. I want to know what it felt like to win the Super Bowl. I need to know what it felt like.
Man, unbelievable, unforgettable experience, to say the least. Just honestly, it's an experience you can't really put into words. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a I don't know, man. Words can't really explain it. It's just like, it's kind of like everything in your career at that point comes to a head, and you're like, the confetti's coming down. I'm making confetti angels, celebrating with family. And it's just priceless moments that just, honestly, it felt like a blur, because it just felt like a dream. Like, it feels like you're literally dreaming. So you're living.
How it was. Was it, I mean, when you look back now, and you even watch videos of you diving, confetti angels and everything else, is it like, oh man, I was doing that? Like, can you even recognize yourself, or was it like you blacked out?
Yeah, it was like a blackout thing. I kid you not. Like, because I mean, if you remember that game, we're like 6.5 minutes left in that game. We're down like 10 points. And Pat and Tyreek, they run that jet chip wasp play. Pat throws that bomb, so that kind of like ignited our comeback. And then like things started momentum. But that whole entire playoffs, we have been down. Like, we played the Texans, actually. We got down 24-0 in this the first quarter. So that's kind of how the playoffs was for us that whole year. But yeah, it was crazy, man. It was like you see the time dwindling down, and then to realize, oh my God, there's only like a minute left and we're actually going to win this thing. It's like, it's a surreal feeling, man.
It was a wild Super Bowl. It was a great Super Bowl. I mean, hate the Chiefs, love the Chiefs. It was that whole playoff run was just incredible, man. Right. And like you said, comeback after comeback. And really only the legendary teams can do that. That's going to go down, in my opinion, as one of the best teams. A total core group, right?
Yeah.
From Travis, Tyreek to Pat, to the defense just came out of the woodwork, and you should be more than proud. As a local guy who did what you did. Tell me a little bit about high school. Obviously, you're a Bishop Timon guy.
Right.
Did you play football all through school, or are you one of those guys that started late? Tell me a little bit about your background, how you got involved.
True, man. Sure. I grew up on, I kind of got to I could dive into the life story a little bit, but I grew up on the east side of Buffalo. Okay. Project. So I didn't play necessarily like organized sports growing up. Like, I had a basketball court right across from where I grew up from.
And where were you? Did you say Perry?
No, Ferry Project, East Ferry.
Oh, the Ferry. Okay.
Right on East Ferry and Delavan, right up the street from ECMC.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You were with the West Side Gun, man. Those Griselda boys, right?
Him, Benny the Butcher, they actually grew up, we grew up a few streets from each other, actually. It's crazy.
So Montana?
Yeah. So, Montana is probably like a 3-minute drive.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But we all grew up in that same area. It's crazy. So, happy to see those guys make it too. But yeah, man, it was crazy. So I grew up, I didn't play organized sports. I didn't play Pop Warner, didn't play any of that. Started basically playing football when I was like 17, because I was playing basketball, like just street ball my entire life. I would play the most football I played is like playing catch. Like, I played catch like in my church backyard. Like, that's insane, man. But
so how big are you at this point when you're 17 and you're playing basketball?
I was like 6'4", like 215, 220 pounds, something around there. That was my so what had happened was my junior year, I had transferred. I was playing AAU basketball, like, finally, because that's what I wanted to do, is play basketball. So ninth grade, I was playing with this AAU team, and then I was playing at North Buffalo. I forget, it was like the North Buffalo Center or something like that. And one of the coaches, from the Snyder family, they're connected to Timon, and they were like, see me play just basketball. They're like, you should come and play basketball at Timon. I'm like, all right, cool. So I transferred to Timon my sophomore year. which was like a big deal with my family because we couldn't afford it, but my mom somehow made a way. And yeah, so I'm in time. I get there my sophomore year. I'm on the varsity basketball team, and and in West New York, when you're 6'4", they're gonna throw you in the paint. So me not realizing that at the next level, collegiate level was like, dude, you're a guard. But I had never developed
right.
skills essentially.
100%. Yep.
I'm playing 4 and a 5, a big, when I really should be a guard if I'm going to play at the next level. So not realizing that, because I literally had never played organized sports. It's all right. Like, well, what's college basketball going to look like for you if you haven't developed these skills? So it's like, all right, well, I kind of pivoted. So going into my junior year, the head football coach at the time at Timing was Charlie Comerford, and he had had a great career at Timing. Went on to play Division I football at Holy Cross, basketball and football. And he's like, come out your junior. He's like, I'll turn you into a Division I football player. And I'm like, bro, ain't no way. Like, I had never even played football, or like not even Pop One or nothing. Like, I had never even put in a helmet on before, got a 3-point stands, anything like that. And I'm like, but it's like, shoot, I'm like, me, young, black inner city kid, I'm just looking for a way out. Like, it's an opportunity for me to get a scholarship to play football, then let's do it. So I come out my junior year and I absolutely suck. It was terrible. It was like so bad. I was so
What
terrible.
position were you playing? Where'd they have you at?
They had me at DN and tight end. So I'd run. They literally tell me to go out and they just throw me fade balls. Like, throw me and I just jump up over kids and catch touchdowns and things like that. But I didn't even play until the last two games of my junior year. And at the time, that's when like Chad Kelly, his senior year, was coming out, and he's like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the nation, like high school quarterback, Uncle Jim Kelly and all that. So
right.
I'm playing against him and Joe's in a rival game. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm holding my own against some guys, making some plays those last 2 games, and then I come out my senior year and played really well the first like 4 or 5 games of the season. I trained really hard that off season going into my senior year, just learning the game and learning just the basics. Like, I didn't even know damn near the rules of the game like that.
Right.
Come out for my
forget schemes and plays. You're talking about rules.
Getting into a stance like I was a football fan at that point. Like, I kid you not, I didn't watch it really on TV as much. I watched like WWE wrestling. I wanted to be a WWE.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I wanted to be a WWE wrestler. Then I wanted to be a basketball player, and then I pivoted to football. So then my senior year, I came out with my first like 4 or 5 games, and I'm doing really well. I think one game we were playing Wilson Magnet. I had like 3 sacks in the game. Barely even know what I'm doing around. I'm just like kind of moving people out of the way.
Yeah.
Into the quarterback, and but then I get hurt my senior year, and I missed half of my senior year with a high ankle sprain. I probably could have played, but it was like we didn't have the best like medical staff, or we would have a trainer come once a week, so I wasn't getting the proper probably medical care that I needed to really come back my senior year. But it just so happened my head coach in high school, that same head coach that asked me to come out, his brother-in-law was a graduate assistant at UB at University of Buffalo, offensive graduate assistant, and he just shot up my film. My head coach was like, "This kid's really raw, but he's athletic. I think he might have a chance," and blah, blah, blah. So then UB started recruiting me, and they actually didn't even come to any of my football games. They came to my basketball games. Like that winter, they came to like so they started recruiting me like late, like going into college. Like, kids that normally have scholarships already, like their senior year. So they started coming to like my basketball games in like December, January. Like, it was crazy. So they saw, I guess they liked what they saw. It was like, all right, maybe he has a chance. So they offered me a preferred walk-on spot. So got into UB through the EOP program. So my first day, I wasn't even able to do an off season with the UB football team. So my first day at UB was training camp. Was training camp. And I'm like, at the time at UB, you got Khalil Mack. Like, right. His retro senior year. And I'm like, essentially still a newbie at playing football. And then you see, he's obviously has his All-American season. And I'm like, dag, man, if I could just grasp like a little bit of what this guy's got going on, then, maybe I could be successful at this. And, to be honest, I mean, he really didn't, he didn't really have to say too much. It's just kind of, you watch the guy, watch how he works, and just learning the game. We had some good position coaches at the time. Like, we had Lou Tepper there, who literally wrote books on linebackers and He coached Bruce Smith back at Virginia Tech, so I was around like some good football minds.
Absolutely, he's one of the best minds there is. Yeah, I mean,
So I had that opportunity to be around him and just learn from Khalil as a player and learn from Coach Tepper as a coach a little bit. And yeah, man, just from there, I just started kind of climbing the ladder at UB. Went from the walk on my freshman year, and then that spring ball. For some odd reason, Coach Quinn at the time thought I was leaving or going to transfer or something. So I had a really good spring ball. They offered me a scholarship at the spring ball, earned a scholarship. My redshirt freshman year, started to get some time. And then going into my redshirt sophomore year, finally earned a starting position. So I was starting at Division I-A school when, 2-3 years ago, I had just started playing football.
The preferred. We just had Jamarcus Ingram. We were talking about that preferred walk-on. Explain to me a little bit, or anyone listening who doesn't know the difference. The preferred is what? What's the difference there?
So the difference between a preferred walk-on and a walk-on. So a preferred walk-on, you essentially have a spot on the team, like coming out of high school. Essentially, they are like, all right, I'm going to offer you a preferred walk-on spot. Like, okay, maybe we've ran out of scholarship. They're only allotted, I think, 85 scholarships or whatever at the time they were, but they're able to keep 105 kids on the team, I think, something like that. And then so basically, they're like, you have a spot on the team, but a regular like a walk-on has to have a tryout. Like,
okay, so you did not have to have that tryout.
I didn't have a tryout because they had, like I said, they had come to my basketball games in high school and so. But I was still a preferred. I didn't come in with a scholarship, essentially. Like,
right.
So, but a walk-on, like normally walk-ons are already students that are at the university, and then the football team will hold, like during the spring, hold a tryout for walk-ons, and they come out, and if they impress the coaches, then the coaches will, say you're on the team, essentially. So.
Okay, I got you. So, I mean, obviously a preferred walk-on's there. That's in a straight up walk-on, right, has a extremely more difficult path. Right?
Yes. I would say a preferred walk-on is a step above a
Sure.
But still very difficult, I would say, because, I mean, my first day at training camp, I get there, I got a position coach there. He told me, like, I kid you, I think I'll never forget this, like, as long as I play football. And I feel like it drives me to this day. Like, I mean, my first day in training camp, position coach was like, "You'll never play here." He was like I'd received, like, I swear to God, just like that. He said, "You'll never play for me. You'll never play here." And UB, like, told me that straight. I was like,
"That's the first day you're there." He says that to you.
First day I'm there. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, all right, let's get to work.
I could not think of better motivation to prove him wrong.
Exactly. So it was like, like as a 17-year-old kid, I'm like just trying to make it out. I'm like, why are you, like, you know what I mean? You're like, man, why are you hating on me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even would I even like do any? It's not like I came in like this big cocky kid. Like, I'm
right.
Or he had said that to me. I'm like, okay, cool. So then that's,
and you know what? Even hearing that, knowing you're a preferred walk-on, and even hearing that, right? You got to take that personal and be like, hey, man, what did I do to you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, let me at least grind and earn. Let me prove to you what I can do.
Right. So, yeah, that happened. Fortunately, that coach had left after that season, after Khalil's senior season. So then, like I said, spring ball. And then, I just kept climbing the ladder. Earned a scholarship after spring ball. Next year, redshirt freshman year, earned some more time. Then the following year, earned a starting job, started playing well. Started to really get, I feel like, a grasp of the game. My redshirt junior year, started playing really well. And then my redshirt senior year became all conference. And then I was up for like the walk-on award, like nationally.
Saw that.
8 boroughs worth award.
Who was on the team your senior? So that was a redshirt senior year.
Yeah, my redshirt senior year, yeah.
Who was on that team? Who were you playing with on that team that year?
My redshirt senior year, I think we had at quarterback, we had Tyree Jackson.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Had Anthony Johnson, really good receiver. KJ Osborne, who plays for the Vikings now.
Yep.
So we had some dudes, man. We had some, like, James O'Hagan was offensive lineman. We had trying to think of any local. We had Evan Kazarchik. He's a local kid from Buffalo. We had some dudes. I think my senior year, we went 6-6. We were supposed to win a lot more games, but all of our quarterbacks got hurt. Like, Tyree got hurt, dislocated his knee. The backup quarterback got hurt. Drew Anderson, who ended up going on and playing for the Cardinals for a little bit. And then we had to lean on a true freshman and Kyle Van Treese, who he just wasn't ready to play, you know. But yeah. So that was
I think Tyree, he's tight end, right? Was he converted tight end?
He put up freak numbers at the combine. So they moved him from quarterback to tight end because he ended up originally going undrafted to the Bills, and then the Bills let him loose at quarterback. And then I think he was in the I want to say the XFL, or was it the USFL for like a season or so, and then the Eagles signed him as a tight end.
So what happened with Tampa?
So you want me to talk about like a pre-draft process, or once I finally get to Tampa?
Both. Okay. I want to hear this. I want to hear this breakdown. Yeah.
Okay, so my senior year ends. You know, I have my career high numbers. Like I was second team All MAC. I was up for, like I said, that walk-on award. Lost to Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. Of course, I'm like, they're going to give it to a big school guy.
Yeah, but even to be in that category, man, kudos to you. That's amazing, dude.
So, yeah. So after that, then it's like the dark. Then it's the unknown, and it's like, all right, what's next, kind of thing. Like, am I going to get drafted? Am I going to go undrafted? Who knows? Like, that's obviously the goal. Like, is to, you know, play in the NFL has been my dream all along. Like, to provide, you know what I mean? So, fortunately, I had an agent reach out to me, who's still my agent now. His name's Greg Linton. Was like, we believe in you. We think you have some talent. We watch your film. We're going to vouch for you. We're going to try to get you in the NFL. We're going to, you know, call teams, get you to workouts and things like that. So begin to train after my senior year, January and February, for my pro day. Didn't get invited to the combine, anything like that. And, you know, end up killing my pro day, put up some good numbers. Had like, I think like a 33-inch vert. I was like 6'4", 262. I think I weighted at. Had like a 34-inch vert. Ran like a 4.7. Broad jump like a 10.1 or something like that. Like, so I put up some pretty solid numbers. And a Tampa scout was there actually. I think his name was Andre, and he had connections to UB somehow. Okay. He was like, he seemed like he took a liking to me or whatever, and he was like, all right, well, I didn't know what was going to happen, and then you get to the draft, and obviously went undrafted, and, you know, towards the end of the draft, had a couple teams calling, like the Giants had a couple, like probably had like 5 or 6 options, and chose Tampa Bay because I felt like that was my best shot in making that team.
Okay.
And, signed with them as an undrafted free agent. You know, get to mini camp and OTAs and all that. You see like, wow, this is the league. Like, you know, and then just work really hard throughout training camp. You know, had a decent preseason, I guess. Then I'm making the practice squad.
Yep.
I stayed on the practice squad, and then week 6 they activated me on the active roster. And I think I was on the active roster.
What was that like? Tell me that feeling. I mean, when you hear that, you know, because we talked about the Super Bowl for a minute, because I had to hear that first, but I bet the second best feeling you've ever experienced was probably that call, right?
Yeah. My first NFL game, I think it was like, I don't forget, this was like week 6 or week 7. Something like that. We're playing the Falcons in Atlanta, and I go out jogging on the field, and, you know, the crowd's going crazy. It's and Julio Jones just freaking loading over there, like he just looks like a monster. Like this thing, I'm like, this dude's a freak. But it's like, I think I played a couple plays on defense and special teams that game.
Yeah,
but it was just a crazy experience. Like, wow, this is really like the league. Like this is the league. This is
it. Yeah,
like welcome to the league moment. So it was cool, man. I ended up playing a couple games that year. Then the next year, go out. There was a lot of turnover in Tampa. They had a new head coaching staff and Bruce Arians and all that, and made the 53-man roster coming out of training camp. And then I was just inactive. For the first 5 weeks of the season.
Not practice squad that year. You made that 53.
Yeah, I made that 53.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, I bust my tail that offseason. Made that 53, and then they end up like just week 5, like literally releasing me for no reason. Like I didn't even like we had a game in London, so we go to London, and literally the first play of the game, like Jameis throws a pick to Mike Evans just on a simple slant route, like a pick 6. Right. Throws a slant, pick 6.
Yeah, he has a tendency to do that once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while. But apparently that was my fault. So.
Oh, okay.
After that game, we get back to Tampa, and we had a bye week the following week. And I'm at home in Buffalo, just spending time with my family. It's like October, spend time with my girl, family. I get a call that Tuesday. Hey, we're gonna release you to come down to the facility and turn in your iPad. I'm like, I'm not even in Tampa. So that next morning, they fly me into Tampa just to turn in my iPad.
Just to turn in the iPad. And you didn't know what was going on at that point. Like they didn't forewarn you nothing.
But I hadn't even played in the game yet that season. They didn't even tell me cut. But that's how the NFL is. Like there's some things they just make moves just to make space and roster space. Like sometimes and people will see it and be like, oh, well, that guy got cut because he sucks. And like, you guys don't understand how much of a business this is that's going on behind closed doors.
Right,
so
right.
They released me, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm just used to adversity at this point. Like it's whatever. It is what it is. I want to draft it. So I'm just rolling with the punches. The next day, get a call from Baltimore, the Ravens. Like, all right, we want to bring you in our practice squad. All right, cool. Fly to Baltimore that next day. Like, and this whole time, I'm supposed to be in my bye week. So I fly to Baltimore that next day. Had a workout with them. They end up signing me. Then I'm on their practice squad for like 4 weeks, and seeing Lamar Jackson work every day, and those guys and practice, and how shifty he is broke me off a couple times.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I get a call. I'm in a D coordinator meeting, like with our defensive coordinator, going over a game plan for that week. And then I get a call from my agent. All right, Kansas City wants to activate you. Kansas City wants to sign you, like, to their active roster. Okay.
Now, but you're at this point, you're what with Baltimore though?
I'm on Baltimore's practice squad at this point.
Okay, okay, go ahead. So sorry. So KC then can just call and say they want to claim you.
So they want to. It's called, like, they poach you. So if a team, any like guys that are on the practice squad around the league, teams can call and essentially poach them. And be like, all right, I want this player, and I'm going to activate them and put them on our active roster. So that's what Kansas City did. They got me from Baltimore. Now Baltimore can be like, no, we're going to put him on our roster, our actual roster, so he doesn't leave us. But at the time, like, sometimes teams will lie to you and play this game like, all right, we're going to activate you. Don't worry, we're going to activate you. We're going to activate you. Like, and Baltimore was saying that to me, not to say like they're not a good organization when it comes to that, but they were like, all right, we're going to activate you next week, and then it doesn't happen, and it's like, all right, well, I got to go where there's an opportunity for me to play.
You have that choice, right? Like, so they don't have, when you're on practice, it's not like property of the Ravens, right? Like you have that choice, correct?
I have the choice to leave to go to another active roster.
Yeah, you can't okay.
You can't go from practice squad to practice squad, but you can go from practice squad to active roster.
Active, Roger. Okay.
So Kansas City calls me and at unit meeting, I'm like, and at the time, that was when Baltimore had like lost a game. They're on like an 8-9 game winning streak, and then everyone's like, "Don't leave Baltimore. They're gonna win a Super Bowl." Like, don't leave Baltimore. I'm like, screw that. I'm like, and you're on active roster. Obviously, you're making more money. I'm like, I'm gonna leave for more money and like an opportunity to sign me up.
That's a no-brainer, man. They don't have to ask you twice, right?
No brainer. So I get to Kansas City on the active roster, and I'm playing in games now. Like, I'm playing consistently.
Right.
Games, and we went all the way to the Super Bowl. Yeah. So it's crazy how it goes from, like, I played for 3 different teams that season. The year I won the Super Bowl, that's why it was a surreal moment too. Because, like, I get to Tampa, I make their 53-man roster, I bust my toe to make that roster. I get cut there for no reason. Like, I talked to Bruce Arians. I didn't talk to any of the coaches. They just literally told me, bring in my iPad. I never got an explanation as to why I got cut. And to be honest, it just, like, made me grow up in a sense, like, as a man, and be like, wow, like, this really is the business world. Like, it's so cutthroat. Like, they tell me why I lost my job. So then,
I'm so happy for you that after that happens, it's not a who had the last laugh kind of thing, I guess, right? Because you don't seem like somebody who's going to hold, bitterness or anything. But I'm so happy for you that at the end of the day, everything just worked out the way it did, man. Call it God, call it karma, call it whatever you want. But that's how it worked out for you, And you're a humble dude. You got a great story, man. I honestly, I wish I could sit and talk to you, all night. And I may just call you, off the record just to talk if that's cool. But I want to get into a couple things with you, man. Just kind of not football related, if you don't mind.
For sure.
Elmo's, right? You an Elmo's guy?
Love Elmo's. Big Elmo's guy. Number one on my list.
there's no doubt they're the best wings, right?
No doubt. The crunchy outside, crispy, no doubt. It's the best. To me, like, no doubt. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
The Cajun double dipped, right?
Cajun double dip with honey mustard, Cajun hot, Cajun barbecue, hot barbecue.
Oh man, I'm hungry right now. You can't get anything like that in Texas, in Houston.
No, man, I'm missing. I'm gonna get a 10-piece right when I get back to Buffalo for summer.
So yeah, you're living in Houston, right?
Living in Houston right now, yes.
My brother-in-law just moved to Houston. You guys are gonna have to link up, man. He's a great dude. He's doing some banking stuff out there, and he moved out. And he loves it. He said he loves the city. He's always out doing something. He's getting into a little trouble here and there, but he's a
yeah.
dude.
It's a big
There's so
city.
many people, in Houston. And of course, none of us guys are into strip clubs or anything like that. Believe me, But he said something about they might have some decent ones there.
Absolutely not.
I don't know nothing about that.
Nothing about that.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about that, man.
Nope.
So, like the drums or the wings? I need to know, drums or wings?
Wings. I'm a big flats guy. I like the flats. Yeah.
Man, we're getting a lot of. We're getting a lot of flats. Jay finally made his way back. So, Jay, you can say what's up here now.
What's up, man? Sorry, I've been in the back with Bruce trying to fix these audio problems. But so I gotta ask before we go.
Mm-hmm.
Does your mom have her license yet?
She does not. My mom does not. My stepdad now still drives her everywhere.
Come on. She got her permit. She got her permit recently, right?
She does not have her license still. So when I'm home, I drive her everywhere, or somebody drives her everywhere. My siblings, we drive her everywhere.
How often are you back in Buffalo?
Well, I mean, I'm in Buffalo honestly quite often. I stay there in the off season, like the first part, like January, February, March. I just like it because and everyone's like, that's the worst time to be in Buffalo. I'm like, it's the best freaking time for me to be in Buffalo. It's quiet, it's cold, and all I do is work anyway. Like I don't like to be. I've never been a guy like, to be honest, like with my story and everything. I've always feel like I've been behind the 8 ball because I started so late. So it's like I've always felt like I'm always behind. So it's like I'm not like other NFL players where they go and take these elaborate vacations like January, February, and gone for like weeks or do that. Like I'm as soon as the season over, I give myself maybe a week or two, and I'm back to the grind. You know what I mean?
You're working, man, and I do pay attention. I see you're always posting something about you working, you grinding. Even the last time we were supposed to link up, you were out working, and to me, that just shows shows your character, shows your work ethic. We wish you absolutely nothing but the best moving forward, man. Something tells me, this story is going to continue, and this might not be the only Super Bowl you end up with, man. I'm being dead serious. Some people you just kind of feel something, you know what I mean? You feel that vibe.
Speak it into existence, man. I hope so, man. I hope. Hey, who knows? I could be in Buffalo, and it could happen in Buffalo. That'd be a dream of mine for me to be a part of a Buffalo team to win the first one in franchise history.
Please, by all means, we need a player like you too, man. We do.
It means so much to us people from Buffalo, and they got the pieces. It just made me so sick to watch them last season and how it ended. It's just like they have all the pieces now. It's just like it just needs to happen.
Got to do it.
To happen, and I always catch crap now because I mean, obviously, I won one in Kansas City, and they're like,
Listen, man. Listen, we could use the 6'4", 270, right? We could use somebody like you. That's our defense needs it. All right, last question. I'm going to go out with Conway, Benny, or Westside. Which one? Which one's your favorite?
I gotta go with Benny. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta go with Benny.
I gotta go with Benny too, man. Benny's the one who kind of broke out.
All have their own different kind of flavor and style to them, and I got respect for all three of them. So I'm not gonna say they're that much further off. Benny's that much further off than the other two, but if I had to pick between the three, I'd say Benny.
All right, you and I are on the same page there. Listen, thanks again for taking time with Moneyball, man. We greatly appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll send you a message in a little bit, but thanks again, man. We really do appreciate it, man. And nothing but the best moving forward.
And make sure your mom gets your license.
Yeah, we want an update on mom's license.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right, man. Take care.